All right, welcome everyone to the 2015 MLS AT&T All-Star Game press conference. We welcome all of those who are watching live on MLSsoccer.com, as well as everybody here in the room. We'll get started with Tottenham Hotspur this afternoon for our guests and opponents in the All-Star Game. To my furthest right is Nabil Ben-Haleb, Kyle Walker, Harry Kane, head coach Mauricio Pochettino, and assistant coach Jesus Perez. We'll open it up with a question for Coach Pochettino, and then we'll jump into the Q&A session. So, Coach, you can give us your thoughts of being invited to the All-Star Game and your expectations of the match on Wednesday.
Good afternoon. We are very happy to be here. It's a big honor for us to participate in this game. I think that it's a big opportunity to share with our fans. I think it will be a great moment for us Wednesday.
Thank you. So we will begin the Q&A portion. Just please raise your hand and we will get you one of the microphones that Scott and Rachel are holding. So Scott, right here. Please just state your name and organization.
My name is Jamie Goldberg. I'm with the Oregonian. I was just wondering, the level of talent in MLS has improved a lot in recent years. There's a lot of players that play in the English Premier League now in MLS and on this All-Star team. What do you guys think of the level of competition, and what are you expecting from Wednesday's game? For coach or any players?
For me?
For coach or any of the players.
Well, I think that the level is increased every day, every year. I think that we have the opportunity every weekend on Sky to watch the live of the game. I think that is learn a lot. I think it's a very good level. I think maybe it's difficult to compete with the big leagues like England or Italy or Spain, but today the soccer on USA is growing up.
Actually, the same question, but for Harry, if you could answer that. What you know, how much MLS you've seen on television, players that you might know that have come over here to play, what sense you have about the level here?
Yeah, like Gaffer said, we get to watch the games on Sky Sports now over in England, so watched a bit more than what I have in the recent years. But yeah, you can see the level's growing, the MLS is becoming bigger and bigger, and it's attracting big names, and you see the names that we're going to be facing in the game on Wednesday night proves that it's getting bigger. And the USA national team is doing very well. They had a great World Cup last year, so I think everyone knows that it's becoming a bigger and better league, and hopefully it continues.
Grant, go ahead.
This is Grant Wall, Sports Illustrated, Fox Sports, for Mauricio. DeAndre Yedlin, young American player who joined you, is with your team here. What have you learned about him so far with Tottenham, and what are his chances of staying with the team or going out on loan this season?
Yes, I think that DeAndre is very young. He has a very good potential for the future. I think that joined us on the middle of the season, the last season. And I think he has an opportunity now to show his value and try to convince me to stay next season. And it's like another player have the same opportunity to show his quality, and maybe why not to stay on the squad for the next season to compete on the Premier League.
Go ahead.
Carlos Rauseo con Telemundo Denver para Mauricio en español, ¿se puede?
Yes.
Mauricio, ¿qué esperas tú del club de Tottenham aquí en Colorado jugando contra las estrellas de la MLS? ¿Y cómo ves el fútbol, no solamente de la MLS, sino en general de los Estados Unidos?
Bueno, la verdad que para nosotros es una buena oportunidad para competir en Estados Unidos. Yo creo que el fútbol está creciendo a pasos agigantados en los últimos años. La llegada de grandes figuras del fútbol hace que la repercusión que tenga en el resto del mundo el soccer aquí en Estados Unidos se vea reflejado el nivel que hay. Yo creo que se está trabajando muy bien en la cantera. Lógicamente vienen con años de retraso con respecto a Europa o a Sudamérica o a otros lugares donde el fútbol está mucho más arraigado. Pero yo creo que bueno, para Tottenham es una buena oportunidad para compartir con nuestros fans. Hay muchos fans, sabemos que aquí en América. Y bueno, yo creo que es un mercado que en expansión y está claro que en Europa, estaba diciendo antes, los partidos se están viendo en directo. Está bien que los horarios a veces son complicados, pero lo que sí que está claro que está gustando ver y el público en Europa está siguiendo mucho la MLS en estos momentos.
I'm Brian Jennings. I'm with Current of Colorado and Soccer 365. Kyle and possibly Nabil also. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to scout the All-Stars much, but they've got some firepower in attack. I mean, what do you have to kind of look for as far as trying to shut those guys down going forward on Wednesday? Thank you.
Obviously, we can see the talent that they've got up front. Obviously, playing with Clint at Tottenham and seeing his capability of what he can do on the ball, which is also, very good, and he's very dangerous. Obviously, I haven't really got the chance to play against some of the other players, but they've proved in other leagues of the capability and the qualities and everything. So we're going to have to be on our game and everything, and it's going to be a good test and one that I'm looking forward to.
Okay. Hipólito Gamboa, Time Warner Cable Deportes para Mauricio. La organización de Tottenham va a tener enfrente a un hombre que conocen bien por haber estado ahí, como es Robbie Keane, y tienen a alguien más que fue rival como es Steven Gerrard. Enfrentarlos ahora en otro territorio, ¿qué representa para ustedes?
Bueno, yo lo que dije antes, es una gran oportunidad para nosotros, es un honor estar aquí, poder competir con grandes estrellas de la Liga de Estados Unidos. Creo que estamos hablando de grandes jugadores como Robbie Keane o Steve Gerrard que han triunfado donde han jugado. Yo creo que siempre los encuentros son emotivos, son bonitos y bueno, yo creo que tiene que ser un partido para disfrutar, un partido para poder, aparte que nosotros estamos en pretemporada y yo creo que para poner la puesta a punto del equipo, en 2 semanas, menos de 2 semanas comenzaremos la liga. Yo creo que es un partido muy interesante, pero sobre todo venimos con la idea de disfrutar ante nuestra gente, ante muchos fans del Tottenham. Yo creo que es una bonita oportunidad de encontrarnos en contra de jugar de estas figuras y también disfrutar para nosotros.
Harry, obviously this is not just a random friendly. When you leave the pitch Wednesday night, you'll have 10 days before you face Man U and to start the EPL. Could you talk a little bit about, match sharpness, the importance of being match sharp and leaving here ready for what's going to be obviously a big season?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game, and that's what we want. Obviously, it's not far now to the start of the season, and we need to be testing ourselves and see how fit we are and see what we need to work on. And for me, it'll be my first game of the pre-season, so I'm really looking forward to it. And so are the other lads. I'd say it'll be a great test for us. They're all in their mid-season, so they'll all be fit and ready to go. So we're really excited, and so we're looking forward to the game.
For each of the 3 players, what is the highest altitude you have ever played at, and what's training been like here at this altitude for you?
I went to Brazil and we played in altitude. It was really hard also with the conditioning physically. But most of us now, we lost the feeling of being in altitude, and it's going to be a tough training session this afternoon and a tough game on Wednesday for us at this altitude on top of the hardness of the game.
Yeah, well, we had a gym session earlier, and it was quite tough. So, like I say, we train this afternoon, so we'll probably get a bit more used to it being outside, and it's probably going to be the toughest that I've faced in my career. So I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a good test, and it'll be great for our fitness ahead of the new season.
Yeah, just really going on what H said really. Obviously we've had the gym session this morning, and And I think it's good to go out and get the training session this afternoon just so we can adapt to it and hopefully know what's coming our way really when we come to the game on Wednesday night.
Have you ever played at this altitude before?
I think probably the most was South Africa when we went there on pre-season a couple of seasons back, which was pretty difficult, yeah.
Right, Rachel, if we can get it to Paul and Graham.
Sentinel, for any of the players from Europe to MLS, but recently we've seen players like Sebastian Giovinco, Gio Dos Santos, who are coming more in the prime of their careers. Do you guys have an impression at all that the perception about the league is changing even among the players about the viability of MLS as a place to play and maybe even earlier in careers than maybe was thought of 5 years ago?
Yeah, I think so. I think, like I touched on earlier, I think it's getting bigger and better. Maybe before players towards the end of their careers were coming over because it probably weren't as fast and it weren't as sharp. But because it's got better and the league got better, players are now seeing it as an opportunity to go and express themselves worldwide in the top league. And I think you'll see more and more in the future going over, probably halfway through their careers or maybe at the start of their careers. It's great experience to be playing abroad, and it's something that they can only gain from.
Graham Parker, ESPN. Again, it's a question for the players. I'm just wondering about, you mentioned it a little bit, but the TV coverage that's now happening in England, just how that's affected your impression of the league, what your impressions have been, and whether it's something you actually will talk about at all.
Yeah, now we get to know a lot more about the MLS through the TV and through Sky Sport. Personally, I watch a lot of football when I'm at home, and I had the chance to watch a few games last season of the MLS, and yeah, that's how we get to know the MLS.
Rachel, Melanie, yellow shirt.
Para el coach Mauricio en español, ¿qué es lo que más les llama la atención precisamente de la MLS? Ha dicho que ha visto algunas cosas precisamente de esta liga. ¿Qué le llama la atención?
Bueno, lo que sí que está claro que varias cosas a nivel organizativo, creo que es una gran organización. Yo creo que también la gran afición que ha creado en los últimos años, viendo a lo mejor 10 años atrás, creo que hoy la gente cada día más se aficiona al soccer, y después el poder de convocatoria para poder traer estrellas desde Europa, jugadores que todavía están en un gran nivel para competir y que vengan aquí, creo que es algo que lo hace muy interesante. Yo creo que hay muchas cosas positivas. Estados Unidos es un gran país, es un país que también creo que el fútbol aportará muchas cosas y que también al mundo le hace bien que el fútbol esté aquí, que el soccer esté en Estados Unidos.
This question is for Mauricio. This is Paul Kennedy of Soccer America. How do you approach Wednesday's game playing in altitude, different from a normal preseason game? And what are some of the things you have to keep in mind, given the fact that it is an altitude game?
No, I think it's a great opportunity to feel this atmosphere, and I think I have a lot of experience in South America because I play on La Paz in Bolivia, I play in Ecuador, in Quito, or in Bogotá, Colombia, and a very tough place to play. And for them, I think it's a very good experience, and I think not change nothing our plan. And it's sure that we arrive ready to compete in 2 weeks against Manchester United and Old Trafford. I think it's a great opportunity for them to feel how they feel to play in a hard condition.
Harry, when the All-Star game was here in 2007, 8 years ago, David Beckham had just gotten off the airplane. he made an appearance here and then debuted for LA 2 days later. Do you remember how you might have reacted to that David Beckham is going to the U.S. and playing this league that maybe at the time you didn't know a lot about? But do you remember being surprised or intrigued or having any kind of reaction to that?
Yeah, I was quite intrigued. I was probably only I was only 13 at the time, so I was still young. But no, Beckham was a hero of mine growing up. So of course it was such a big thing, him going over to America, and I think he come over with the idea to try and change the image of it and try and make it a bigger and better league, and I think he succeeded. I think so he was a big name going over there at the time, and now you see so many other players going over there. So no, it was a big thing in England, but he had great success over here. He obviously enjoyed his time as well. So no, it's great to see, and it's definitely helped the MLS overall.
We'll take one last question before the photo op. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is for Mauricio. Ariel Castillo with MLSsoccer.com. Last year, Pep Guardiola refused to shake hands with the other side because he thought the game was too competitive. So I was wondering, how competitive are you hoping it will really be, and what would it take for you to not shake hands with the other side? ¿O en español?
Sí, Guardiola.
No le dio la mano al técnico. ¿Qué tan complicado debería ser el partido para que tú no fueras a darle la mano a
Pablo. I think Pablo, we share that he's Argentino like me. It's the same nationality. I think this is different, but no, I think that I watched the game. It was a very tough game for Bayern Munich. I think that we need to understand that for the All-Star is a very important game. I think for us it's the same. But we need to compete. For us, we expect a very tough game. But I think nunca le negaría el saludo al entrenador.
I would never not shake or say hello to the opposing coach.
Okay. Gracias.
All right. So we thank you guys for the formal portion. If you guys can just stand up and then stand in front of the table, and we'll have the MLS All-Stars join you for the photo op.
¿Qué tal? Bien. Cansado porque tengo que parar en Canadá.
You're going to just go on the other end of the lift.
Grab the last chair. Rick. Gracias.
Nos vemos luego.
Hasta luego.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sí, cuando me llamó me dijo, nos vemos a la recepción ahora, porque nosotros no vamos a entrenar. Sí, lo entrenamos por la mañana.
Can't play.
Great. So we now welcome the MLS All-Stars to the press conference. Joining us today, we have MLS All-Star head coach and Colorado Rapids coach, Pablo Mastroeni. We have Seattle Sounders and MLS All-Star forward, Clint Dempsey, and Orlando City midfielder and All-Star captain, Kaká. So, Coach, we will ask you, just to kick us off today, your thoughts on leading the All-Stars on your own turf, and your expectations in facing Tottenham.
Well, I think it's exciting for myself, the players, our club, the state of Colorado to have such high-profile players in town and celebrating soccer here in the state of Colorado. I think every year, we become more in tune with the growth of the sport as a whole, and it's being represented here in the state. So it's really exciting times for us in Colorado. As far as Tottenham, a really talented group. They have a wonderful coach who likes to play a very aggressive, entertaining style of football, and so the expectations are that we're going to have a tough game. And so it's important for us to make sure that we approach it the right way, and more importantly for these guys to be able to express themselves and continue to play the kind of football they've been playing all year. So I'm really excited from a managing perspective, but more importantly from a fan's perspective.
Thanks, Coach. So just a reminder, raise your hand, we'll get you the mic, and just please state your name and organization. So we'll go 1, 2, 3.
John Meyer, Denver Post. Pablo, when this game was held here in 2007, Beckham was fresh off the plane, made an appearance, and played his first game for the Galaxy 2 days later. Could you just reflect on the growth and development and interest in the league over the past 8 years, and for that matter, since you were a kid growing up here, the son of Argentine parents, and seeing how the game has developed over the years?
Well, I'd be here forever, John. But just the short answer is it's amazing to be on the stage with these two gentlemen here, and I think this is a reflection of how far we've come with the sport in this country. And for me, it's by far the most talented group of players representing the MLS since I've been a part of the league. And I wish I still had legs to be able to play with these guys. But I think it's grown tremendously, and I think soccer from a layman's perspective, they're much more knowledgeable about the sport, and I think it's the one sport in this country that has yet to reach its peak, and I think we're heading in that direction, and I think this moment for us here is a reflection of that.
Grant Wall, Sports Illustrated, Fox Sports. For both Clint and Ricardo, there's a lot of talent on this team you're playing on. Is it fun to play with guys of this level, and how do you don't play with them every day, so how do you try and get on the same page with them in a short amount of time?
I think it's always fun to play with good players. It makes life easy, makes the game fun, because you have the ball a lot. Most of the time we get to play an attacking style, and I like scoring goals, so I'm excited to play with guys like Kaká and the other guys we got on this team, and looking forward to the game and just representing Seattle well.
Hello. For me as well, I'm so exciting for this game. I grew up watching American sports and watching all-star games, and now I have the opportunity to play one of these games with these guys. And for the game tomorrow, I think it's the little problem for the coach to put this plays together and have a good game. But probably we will be good for the game because all the players good, intelligent, smart. So probably will be a good game.
Jamie, and then we'll go to Telemundo, and then we'll come back over here.
Jamie Goldberg with the Oregonian. A lot more players are coming to MLS, a lot of top players, even in their prime, not just as at the end of their careers. When you guys made the decision to come to MLS, what is it about the reputation of the league and how it grew that impacted that decision for you guys? And what have you found in playing in this league about the level of competition?
I mean, for me, it gave me an opportunity to go pro, to play here in this league, so a lot to the league for that. Enjoyed my time playing in Europe. But for me, it was important to come back and raise my family here, raise my kids here. So to be able to come to a league that still, plays an exciting style, and to come back to a league that gave me my chance to go pro in the first place and try to help grow the game and try to bring MLS Cup to Seattle is what it's all about.
For me, it's the opportunity to be another part of my career, playing here and be part of this growing phase of the MLS. Probably I will not see the best phase of MLS, but I will be part of this sitting time. So in the future, we are going to be one of the best league in the world here.
Great, thank you. All right, we'll move over here to Telemundo.
Carlos Raucedo, Telemundo Denver, para Kaká, Pablo. Bienvenido, Kaká, a Denver. Quería preguntarte, viniendo de una liga europea, hasta ahora, ¿cómo has visto el desarrollo del fútbol en la MLS de Estados Unidos? ¿Qué esperas para el juego del miércoles? Y también si podrías enviar un saludo a todos los fanáticos latinos que van a asistir a este juego.
Bueno, muchas gracias. Es un placer estar aquí. Es la primera vez que vengo a Denver. Y para mí, ver cómo está creciendo esta liga es una grande sorpresa. Cuando he venido he dicho que me gustaría participar de ese crecimiento y todo más. Pero lo que está pasando ya en este año, principalmente para nosotros ahí en Orlando, cómo estamos viviendo todo, la gente cómo está aficionada con el equipo, para nosotros está siendo una experiencia fantástica. Y ahora a cada mes, a cada día salen noticias de nuevos jugadores que están llegando. Llegó ahora Pirlo, hoy salió la noticia que Didier está llegando también. Entonces eso demuestra que lo que yo pensaba está caminando en esta dirección, que vamos a tener una liga muy muy buena en los próximos años. Y un abrazo y un saludo a todos los latinoamericanos que puedan mirar este partido ahí de miércoles, que va a ser un partidazo.
Pablo, hace 2 temporadas estabas jugando con Galaxy todavía. Al siguiente año estás como coach de Rapids. Y hoy eres el coach del All Star. La carrera como coach, muy rápido. ¿Cómo manejarlo y con tantas estrellas?
Pues la vida es una cosa increíble, ¿no? A veces te toca lo bueno y a veces lo malo. Pero lo importante para mí es seguir el pasión mío, que es ser un mejor entrenador que puedo ser. Y mira, ha habido muchos desafíos en mi carrera como entrenador y va a haber varios que vienen. Y lo lindo es disfrutar los momentos de la vida del partido de estrellas, como el partido de miércoles, para seguir creciendo como manager. Y tal vez elegir un equipo con tantas estrellas también va a ser difícil, pero mira, va a ser un gran partido y gran oportunidad para estar en el mismo estadio con jugadores grandes.
Diego Pinzón de Fútbol MLS para Kaká y Pablo. Kaká, primero, tener esta posibilidad de hacer parte de un grupo de jugadores con los cuales tú ves en contra cada fin de semana, pero ahora estar en el mismo entorno con ellos, en el mismo camerino, ¿cómo es esa experiencia para ti, lo que va a ser estos días? Y Pablo, pues también en el otro lado como entrenador, tú manejas un grupo de jugadores a diario, ahora tener a futbolistas de diferentes equipos, ¿cómo tienes tú cómo manejas esa posición de saber a quién vas a sentar, a quién vas a sacar como titular, cómo va a ser conformar el equipo?
Sabemos que no es fácil juntar los jugadores y poner ahí en el campo para que sea un buen equipo, pero yo creo que la motivación de cada uno de hacer parte de este partido, en especial yo, una motivación increíble de jugar, de estar aquí, de ganar este partido. Entonces esto ya un punto positivo para todos, y creo que al final todos que están aquí están muy motivados y quieren no solo salir ahí en el campo con la camiseta de All-Star, mas también salir de la cancha con la victoria. Entonces esto creo que va a ser la diferencia.
Y ¿sabe? La realidad es que todos estamos en un momento en el campeonato difícil. Todos tuvieron partido el fin de semana. Algunos, como Clint, vienen del Copa de Oro, y ha recibido bastantes llamadas de los otros entrenadores preguntándome cuántos minutos van a jugar. Idealmente me gustaría jugar todos 45 minutos si podemos, así todos pueden jugar y disfrutar el partido así junto. Es difícil y lo último que quiero es que alguien se lesione en este partido. Así vamos a ver, pero idealmente jugar todo 45 minutos será muy lindo, pero no sé si es posible.
Go ahead, Graham.
It's a question for Pablo. Graham Parker, ESPN. Obviously some great players, some household names here, and can you talk as well about the importance of players like Drew Moore, players who've been in the league for their whole career and who've helped build the league, and the richness that it comes from celebrating their contribution.
Yeah, no, I think to have any good team, you got to have a balance, and I think that guys like Drew, guys like Chad Marshall, Omar Gonzalez, some of these guys, Clint, that's played in the league and started his career in the league. These are the guys, the foundation of all the hard work and the first phase of growing this Major League Soccer. And I think it's important to give back to these guys and let them know that their work is still seen, all the while that there's amazing talent coming in, and that's usually making the front pages in SportsCenter. That these guys are actually pillars that continue to allow these guys to do what they do and put on a show. So, as a player, I played in a thankless position, and only after I finished playing and became a coach that I realized how important that position is. These guys have been a critical element to the growth of this league, and it's great to see these guys get an opportunity in this All-Star game.
Go ahead.
Hey Clint, Pat Graham from the Associated Press. Do you stay in touch with anyone from Tottenham, and can you give Pablo any scouting reports on that team?
I still stay in touch with Yedlin. But yeah, Moussa Dembele, great guy, great player. Played with him at Fulham. So it's always good to see him doing well. I look forward to seeing him. But yeah, I know some of the staff, but a lot of faces have changed since I was there. But if Pablo wants to ask me some questions, I'll try to help him out.
Go ahead, Paul.
This is Paul Kennedy of Soccer America. My question is for you, Pablo. Could you speak a little bit about your what you remember about your first All-Star game appearance as a player, and also how has the game changed since then in terms of both its competitive nature and its importance? You look at last year's game against Bayern Munich, that actually was a pretty amazing game, both from a competitive point of view and the interest that it created.
Yeah, well, my first All-Star game, I believe, was in 2000. I was a third-year player, and it was just someone got hurt, so they called me in. And I think I was having a good year, but just another one of those just fly under the radar type kind of players. And for me, it was a big deal. It was a validation of all the hard work. And so for me, from the beginning, All-Star games meant a lot. And I think at that time we were still playing East versus West, and there wasn't really enough talent to make that game as exciting as it can potentially be today. And moving forward, I think the game last year against Bayern Munich really made this a real competitive event. And the interesting thing is, I don't know if the players, in this point of the season, you think, do we want to put them through this? And the response they had against Bayern was tremendous. And so this format has been very exciting, very entertaining, and I think this game against Tottenham will be no different. They're coming into one of their last few games prior to starting the season. They're going to give it a good go, and so it's important, like the guys last year, to approach this game the right way. And I think moving forward, as this league continues to develop, I think there's a shout to kind of reconsider that East versus West as you continue to get great talent coming in and to showcase all of it in a way that's ultra competitive. And maybe, this is me just kind of speaking out of turn here, but, Major League Baseball does this where if the West wins, the West hosts the MLS Cup. And that's just super exciting stuff to think about. But as far as the format as it stands, it provides great entertainment, great excitement, and a really competitive game.
Since Drew Moore came up, I'd like to ask Clint, you may not remember this, but I talked to Drew about this last week, if he had played against you when you were in youth soccer in Texas. And he said, well, everybody knew Clint Dempsey back in those days, and we know the stories about you commuting back. But he said there was a cup tournament that your team ousted his, and you scored the winning goal. They played up because he's a year younger than you. I'm guessing you don't remember that, but I'm asking you if you do remember Drew Moore, and if not, if you could talk a little bit about him at Furman when you were teammates at Furman.
Yeah, of course I remember him, but in terms of the exact game, I couldn't say, but I knew that he was a year younger than me. He's a player that's always been there around the national team and being scouted by a lot of good colleges. So being able to play with him at Furman was awesome. We had a really good team there. He was able to go on to Indiana, win the championship, also able to go to MLS and win the MLS Cup with Colorado. So he's had a good career, and he's someone that I'm glad to see doing well because he kind of followed the same path to me in terms of coming from Texas and playing club ball to try to make it to college.
Thank you. Go ahead, Jamie.
This question's for Clint and Pablo. When the format kind of changed from the East versus West to bringing in an international club, the MLS, I guess, at first was kind of considered the underdogs, and as the talent has grown, it's been much more on the same level. And you mentioned obviously with the Bayern Munich game last year. Do you feel like MLS has raised the level where they're not really the underdogs anymore in this game, and where the talent's at this point?
Well, I think it's always a gauge of talent when you have this type of game. But still, it's kind of a different situation, how you look at it. I guess it all depends. I mean, for us, if you win the game, we're in the mid-season form, and they're in preseason form. So, yeah, it's good, but I don't think maybe we'll always get the credit it deserves. And if you don't perform well, I guess you look at the league as a whole and say, wow, maybe the league is not moving in the right direction. So it's a difficult game to try to get the all-stars on the same page because a lot of them haven't played together. And you're playing with a new coach, trying to learn a new system, and you're trying to put on a good show. I mean, so it's just different how you look at it. I like the East and West thing as well. I think the more players you reward, the better. But at the same time, it is cool to be able to play against some top clubs. So it's a difficult decision MLS has to make.
All right, we'll take the last couple of questions, Ramses, and then we'll go to Paul Tenorio.
Ramses Sandoval, Univisión Deportes, pregunta para ti, Kaká. Ya llevas tiempo jugando aquí en la MLS. ¿Qué opinas de la experiencia MLSera durante el fin de semana? Algo que no hacen en Europa. Tú jugaste obviamente a mejor nivel allá con Real Madrid, el Milán. ¿Qué opinas y crees que en el futuro Europa podría ser algo así, no?
Bueno, la experiencia está siendo muy buena. Sí, yo creo que en el futuro va a ser así, porque jugar y tener la oportunidad. Hemos jugado un partido increíble este final de semana. Hemos perdido al final, pero al final todo el partido ha sido un gran partido, muy bueno, una diversión, una atracción increíble. Y creo que más partidos como estos están para venir. Entonces el futuro es aquí.
Good.
Paul Tenorio from the Orlando Sentinel. Ricky, this is for you. You've talked about kind of one aspect that you've enjoyed about this season is seeing different cities in the States that you've never been to before. Your first trip to Denver, what are your thoughts? And also, have you kind of thought about playing at altitude? And did you have that experience when you were playing in Brazil, growing up playing at altitudes like this?
Yeah, it's my first time here. I played with Brazil in Colombia, Ecuador. There's two cities that it's difficult to play, but we can handle it. We have 3 days, and the first training probably tomorrow will be the worst part, but for the game, I think everybody's going to be ready. No problem.
All right, any last questions? All right, so that will wrap up the MLS All-Star portion. We thank all of you for participating. We thank all the All-Stars for participating. We look forward to seeing all of you on Wednesday. And just a quick reminder, tomorrow trainings start at 10 a.m. at Dick's Sporting Goods Parks. Thank you.